paper, scissors. Now, obviously, you guys know how this game works, but what I'm going to do here is make it so that the computer keeps track of how many times the user gets it correct versus how many times the computer gets it correct. And when I say correct, sir, I mean whoever wins rock, paper, scissors. So the first thing we're going to do here is import random. Now, small note here, when you are importing modules, it's typically best practice to do it at the very top of the program. I see some beginners import the module like right before they use it. That's fine, you can do that, but it's just better practice to have it right at the top, so it's really easy to see what stuff you've imported, and obviously remove it, and then you can use it throughout the entire file, whereas if I tried to use like random up here, it doesn't work until after I've imported, right? So hopefully that's clear. But anyways, that's what we're going to do. So what we need is we need two variables, one for the user score and one for the computer score. So I'm going to say user underscore wins is equal to 0, and I'll say computer underscore wins is equal to 0 as well. All right, now I'm going to have a while loop. I'm going to say while true. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to ask the user, actually, yeah, I'll ask the user to input rock, paper, or scissors, and then I will also let them type in Q, like the letter Q, and if they do Q, then we'll just immediately quit the program. So let's handle that first. Let's say user underscore input is equal to input, and I'll say type, and then we can say rock slash paper slash scissors. Is scissors with two S's? I think that's how you spell it. Okay, rock, paper, scissors, and well, paper should be spelled correctly. Okay, rock, paper, scissors, or Q to quit. Okay. All right, so now that we have that, we will go down and we will check. Let me just zoom out so we can see this here, what the user actually typed in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to see if they typed in Q. So I will actually convert this to dot lower in kind of the way that I showed you we could do it previously. We'll take whatever the user types in, and we'll just convert it to dot lower. And actually, instead of a period, let me do a colon, and let me add a space so it's not all smushed there. Okay, so type rock, paper, scissors, or Q to quit. And now I'm going to say if the user input, and this is converted to dot lower, right, is equal to Q, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit. Otherwise, I'm going to check if they typed in rock, paper, scissors, or if they typed something else. And now I'm going to show you how we can check if the user input is equal to more than one thing. Because previously I've been showing you how we can check if it's equal to just a string, right? But now I'll give you a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a hack, but a little bit of a trick so that you can see if the user typed in rock, paper, or scissors all in one line rather than writing 3 if statements. So I'm going to say if the user input is in, and I'm going to use a list. You guys probably haven't seen this before if you're like a complete beginner in Python. And let me just kind of fix this a little bit. So PS, I'm going to type it myself and I'll explain what's going on here. Okay, so let's make this in quotes. Okay, and then this needs to be in quotes too. Okay, I'm really messing this up quite badly, but you get the idea. Okay, so what I've done is I've just created a list. Now, a list is anything encapsulated in these square brackets that is like separated by commas. So I have this rock, paper, and scissors string in this list. And so what I'm saying is if user input is in this list, I'm checking if whatever the user typed in exists in either of these 3 strings. So essentially we're just checking if the user typed in rock, paper, or scissors. Now you can put any strings in here that you want, but we're just checking obviously if this is in here. And that's how we can check multiple things on one line. There's other ways to do this too, but this is kind of one nice trick that we can use. So I'm going to say if user input, and I'm actually going to say is not in. Now this is another keyword again that you may not have seen before. What this is going to do is simply reverse the kind of thing that we were checking before. So we were checking if the user input was in rock, paper, scissors. So now when I say not in, I mean, obviously, as you would read it in English, this is checking if the user input is not in here. If it's not in here, that means they didn't type in something valid, and well, what we need to do is have them type in something valid. So what I'm going to do is say type continue here, and what this will do is just re-ask them to type in rock, paper, scissors, or Q. So we could give some error message saying that's not a valid option or something like that, but what I'm going to do is just have it so it keeps asking them to type something in until eventually they give us something valid. So when I hit continue, that means anything after here is not going to happen, right? If this continue is hit, we're just going to go back up to the top of the while loop. Sweet. And actually, rather than saying quit here, what I'm going to do is say break. So this will break out of the while loop, and then that will actually automatically end the program for us because we'll be at the end. We won't need to, actually manually quit. So the break breaks out of the while loop, which means we'll go to wherever the end loop is done, or wherever the while loop is done, and then we can actually just print something saying, good, no, not that, goodbye, exclamation point. Sweet. Okay, so now at this point in time, the user has given us valid input. They've typed in rock, paper, or scissors. So what we need to do is generate a random number that represents rock, paper, or scissors for the computer. So I'm going to say rand, random underscore number is equal to, and then this is going to be random.randint, and we'll generate a number between 0 and 2. So if they type in 0, that can be rock. If they type in 1, that can be scissors or paper. If they type in 2, that can be scissors. So let's write that down in a comment. To do a comment in Python, you hit the pound sign, or use the pound sign, like the number sign, and then type anything after it. Anything on a line that comes after a pound sign will not be read by your Python interpreter, and it's just there so that as a programmer, it's easier to read and gives you documentation or comments about what's going on. So I'm going to say rock is 1, or rock is 0. I'm going to say paper is 1. I'm going to say scissors is, and then 2. Sweet. So the way that I'm going to do this now is I could do an if statement, or I could write 3 if statements, say, if random number is equal to 0, then the computer picked rock. If random number is equal to 1, if random number is equal to 2. I actually don't need to do that. What I can do is, let's see here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now here to actually assign some variable equal to rock, paper, or scissors to represent the computer's kind of choice is I'm going to use a list. Now, again, this might be a little bit confusing, but I think you guys will get the idea if I do this. I'm going to take this list right here, rock, paper, scissors. I'm actually going to store it in a variable. I'm going to say options is equal to rock, paper, scissors, and I'm going to change this here to be options. So this is doing the exact same thing as before, except we're just storing this list of values now in this options variable. Now, if you haven't seen lists before, these are actually very interesting. They're known as a data structure, and they are collections of elements, right? We have multiple elements, multiple strings stored in this list. And well, the way we access these different elements in this list, let's say I just wanted scissors, or I just wanted paper, I just wanted rock, is we use what's known as an index. So if you write the name of your list, which in this case is options, that's the variable storing the list, you can put these square brackets, and then you can put a numeric index that represents these different elements. So in this case, the different indices of this list are 0, 1, and 2. And if we had another element, right, let's just go, test, then this would be index 3. So the way this works is you start counting at 0, and then you just go up by 1 every single time. So the very first element is indexed by 0, second 1, third 2, fourth 3. And so that's all that is. So when I say options at 0, that's going to give me rock. When I say options at 1, that gives me paper. When I say options at 2, that gives me scissors. And so I have some random number that's between 0 and 2, right? And 0 represents rock, 1 represents paper, and 2 represents scissors. Let me get rid of test. So what I can do is say, let's actually change this here, say computer underscore guess, or computer underscore pick, I guess, is equal to, and then this is going to be options at whatever the random number is, because this will be between 0 and 2. And so we'll use that as the index to actually access the string, the thing that the computer chose, right? Rock, paper, or scissors. So now what we can do is we can print out what the computer chose. We can say computer picked, and then we can say comma, and we can say computer underscore pick. And then we will decide who actually won, right? So then we'll say who won. And let me just do comma. Let's do plus, and let's just add a period. The reason I'm not doing a comma and then the period is because if I do a comma, it will automatically add a space between this period and the computer pick, which I don't want. And so instead, we're just going to add the dot like that. Okay, so we're going to say the computer picked that, and then we need to decide who won, right? And so to decide who won, we need to compare the user's pick to the computer's pick. So we're going to say if the user input is equal to, and then I guess we'll say rock, we'll then do kind of the winning condition for the user. So if the user picked rock, then what do they win against? Well, they win against scissors. And so now we need to check if the user picked rock and the computer picked scissors. So what I'm going to do is use this keyword called and say computer underscore pick is equal to, and then scissors. So if that's the case, we'll print out you won exclamation point, and then we'll say user underscore wins plus equals 1 so that they get one more win. So what this and does is it checks if the condition on the left side and the condition on the right side are true. So what happens in this if statement, or what's in this if statement, will only happen if both of these things are true. Pretty straightforward. That's how the and works. Alternatively, there's an or. And an or will kind of do the opposite. It will check if either the left or the right is true, or both of them are true. If any of those three things happen, this is true, or both of them are true, then what's in the if statement will run. Whereas with the and, it has to be both of these being equal to true for what in the if statement is going to run, or if what's in the if statement is going to run. Sorry, butchering my English here. Okay, so that's one of the when conditions for our user. And then if that's the case, we can just go ahead and say continue, and we can go back up to the top of the while loop and keep going. But we need to check the other when conditions, right? And there's two more when conditions. Let's go here and let's fix the indentation. Okay, and we'll say if the user input now is equal to paper and the computer picked, rock, then that means that we won, right? And so we would add 1 to the win. And then the last one is we picked scissors and the computer picked paper. Sweet. So the reason I'm doing this continue here is because after we've determined that we've won, there's really no point in checking these other if statements. So we could instead do these in elifs. So I could say if, elif, and then actually I could remove all these continues. And in fact, let's do this. And then we will go down here and we will say else. And then what we would do here is say print you lost. And then we will say computer wins, okay, plus equals 1. So the reason this works now is because we check if we won with the rock versus scissors, we check if we won with paper versus rock, we check if we won with scissors versus paper, and if none of those are true, that means we didn't win, right? There's no point in checking if the computer beat us in all the other scenarios. We just need to check if our 3 win conditions were true. If they are not true, then we know that we lost. And so we would print we lost, and then we add our computer wins. And this is an example of using multiple elif statements. We'll check this one. If it's false, we'll check this one. If it's false, we'll check this one. If it's false, we run this. If any of these are true, we immediately stop and we do whatever is inside of here, which is increment the user wins and print you won. Great. So now the last thing I'm going to say before I do goodbye is I'm just going to print out the number of user wins versus computer wins. So I'm going to say the user, or I'll say in this case, u1, comma, user underscore wins times, and then we'll print the computer won, and then computer underscore wins times period. Great. So hopefully that is all good. Let's quickly run through what we've done because we wrote a lot of code here relatively quickly. As you can tell, I'm kind of picking up the pace a little bit as we go through this. So we have our user wins, our computer wins. We're importing random, which we've already discussed. We have our list. First time we've seen this, called options, has our 3 values in it. We have while true. We have user input equals input, and then we say type, rock, paper, scissors, or Q to quit. We make whatever they type in lowercase. We check if the user inputted Q. If they do, we break, we're done, we stop the program. If they didn't, then we check if the user input is not in the options. If it's not in the options, that means they didn't type a valid rock, paper, or scissors. And so we press, or we go continue, which means we're going to start the loop again. And we're going to ask them to type something in. Then what we do, if they typed in something valid, is we generate a random number between 0 and 2. This is what it stands for. Rock is 0, paper is 1, scissors is 2. We make our computer pick, so computer pick is equal to options at whatever the index is of the random number. We then say, okay, the computer picked this. We then check if the user won based on what the computer picked, right? And yeah, that's all good. And then we increment computer wins or user wins, and we will keep going until eventually the user hits Q. Once we're done, we'll break out of the while loop and we'll print these 3 things. Let's run it. Let's see if it works. Okay. Type rock, paper, scissors, or Q to quit. Let's just test Q. Okay, you won 0 times, the computer won 0 times. Goodbye. Nice, works. Okay, let's actually type something. Let's go rock. It says computer pick scissors. You won. Nice. Okay, type rock, paper, scissors, or Q to quit. Let's go paper. Computer pick scissors. You lost. Okay, that sucks. Let's go scissors. Computer picked paper. You won. Nice. Let's go rock. Okay, and let's go Q. And then it says the computer won 1 time. You won 3 times. Goodbye. All right, so that is rock, paper, scissors, keeping track of how many times both the user and the computer wins. Now we're going to move on